Hello. Okay, this took way longer than I thought it was gonna take, but this is my first live video of this way. So this is definitely new for me using a webcam. And I scheduled it, so sorry for being late. And yeah, this was my first time. I wanted to try this method and just see how this goes. And I wanted to talk about my newest video, but I didn't want to film a whole video and then do it. So this is how it's gonna go. So yeah, I'm just gonna drink a little bit of water. And I have some smoothie here just because it's still kind of afternoon. So let's see. I'm gonna try. And I'm just gonna practice like sharing a screen. I think this is gonna be a hard maneuver for me, but let's see how this goes. Of sharing a screen. Mm. Oh, okay. I see right here. And the video in question is the one on affordable luxury. So it was my newest video that was published yesterday. Let's see, go to detail and yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna put the link in the chat. And anybody? Okay, this is definitely working. I like this. Okay, so this is my newest video. And I was just gonna watch it and have commentary, and if anybody joined, just making sure that actually let me see how it looks online before I oh okay. You see it. Okay, there we go. Okay. And I just wanted to just look at this and just talk about the new video and the new format. And I wanted to just receive feedback on the video and if anybody has watched it, what they thought about it. And, have a watch. It's like a watch party or something. I did not premiere it, so I couldn't be in the comment section, but just talk through it and if anybody had any questions, as well as what to look forward to for my next upcoming videos. I think I would start doing more of these for the future. This one I kind of scheduled late, but in the future, I'll probably schedule with more time. So that is something to look forward to. Okay, let's see. And yeah, okay. So the new video, which was called Affordable Luxuries Are Not So Affordable and the Pitfalls of Overconsumption. I think the premise of the video and how I even got to that in the first place was all about what I've been seeing on social media. And I tried to cover that in some of my videos of just speaking about what it's like to see a lot of people on the internet and you get so oh, that's my smoothie. You get this pressure of having to keep up with the Joneses, especially now that's on social media. It's not a myth anymore that, okay, there are people who live better than you. We often see it a lot in our daily lives, and that can affect somebody in a way that is not so healthy. And in retrospect, it's easy to say, get over it. Life is all about the things that you can and cannot afford. So there's no reason why you should feel a certain way about it. But the truth is that even with affordable luxuries, there's a part of us that feel like, okay, we work so hard, we deserve it. There's a part of us that feel like this is something that we are supposed to have rather than just something that, we have to wait to get. But that's the type of mentality that ends us up in situations that we may not thrive in. Yeah, everybody in a way deserves a life of not having to struggle for the basics. But how much of a reality is that? And that's what this video was communicating. It doesn't mean you should not be able to get the things that you need, your basic necessities. It's not to say that somehow you don't deserve to have nice things for yourself. But even the Bible says no discipline seems pleasant at the time. It seems pleasant in time, however, yields a harvest of righteousness by those who have been disciplined by it. And sometimes it's not that you will never get the things that you want. It's just maybe not now. Maybe you have to wait a little bit more. And that's not fun. That's not something that all of us can do, like self-denial, um, just tell yourself to wait. But at the end of the day, it's needed. It's really needed when it comes to affordable luxuries. It's easy to talk yourself out of buying a big house because then you get denied for the loan because you're not going to qualify. It's easy to talk yourself out of some maybe an irresponsible purchase that is really big. But when it comes to the little things like daily coffees, when it comes to something like maybe getting an apartment that is slightly above your budget, when it comes to even getting a bigger house sometimes that maybe you qualify for, but it's not something that you should actually be doing, it's hard for people to turn away and be like, you know what? This is great. And maybe in theory, I can afford it, but it doesn't make sense right now for me to get it. It's okay for us to not overconsume and to give ourselves the break of being like, you know what, this is going to be a moment of sacrifice. This is going to be a time of sacrifice. And in the end, I hope that something better comes out of it. And so that's all what affordable luxuries are about. Sometimes it's even about going on vacation. It's like, I deserve to go on vacation because I work so hard. And yeah, you do. But if you're deep in debt, the sacrifice you make today is going to be worth so much more than taking that vacation today and then still being deeply in debt. Probably being on vacation, not being able to enjoy it because you know that what is waiting for you at home? A bunch of bills. So in this moment of life where a lot of people are comparing themselves to what they see on social media, where they're comparing themselves to everything that is being shown. Some are real, some are not real. I don't like it when I see videos and people are like, well, everything you see on social media is fake. That's not true. There are people with big houses, when I'm driving past some of these neighborhoods, people are living there. And some of them are very rich people, but some of them also sacrificed for a long time to get there. Not everybody came from generational wealth. There's a big percentage of the millionaires and even some billionaires that literally are self-made. And being a self-made millionaire is nothing that is beyond the ordinary person. Will it take time? Sure. Will it take getting to maybe retirement? Yeah. But if you sacrifice now, that is something that you can reach. And if it's a goal of yours, I think it's important not to give up. And it's important to keep on the sacrifice, even if it's not as fun, even if it doesn't feel like, well, I deserve better and I shouldn't have to struggle all this while. So that was the main point of the video. And, if you have any questions, even after this live, you can still put in the comment section. I'll answer and hopefully get feedback on the video. I have more videos coming up this month and well, actually it's like one more week for this month and in October that hopefully will stir up that conversation because it's really important that we discuss practical ways that we can in general just be people living in this economy that is really tough for a lot of people, but be content with what we have, and work harder for the future and plan for the future. I know there's this sentiment that, no matter how much money you make, you're not going to be able to live a certain lifestyle. People are saying that, Well, the average family is making $76,000 and they cannot live on that amount. And I would like to make videos that challenge that sentiment, because when you make a budget, sometimes we have to differentiate our needs versus our wants. And that's what Affordable Luxuries videos was also about. What is a need and what's a want? And sometimes we conflate those two, and that can be very detrimental to our financial growth and our financial impact. And we have to have these conversations so that people would know that there's some things that are not normal, or considered to be a need in life. It's a want, and it's okay to want those things. It's okay to really want those things in your life and to have those things. But are those your needs? Can you live a content and fulfilled life without materialistic things? Yes. And that's the type of thing we need to talk to our young people about. So, yeah, that's one of the videos that I'm definitely working on and scripting right now. It's all about the upgrades. When we compare ourselves to the middle class of the past, and we cannot live and afford the type of middle class that was in the 1950s, which I would like to challenge that sentiment for us to go back in history and read about the middle class of the past and what that looked like, to not idealize the past. But beyond that, you have to think about what was the norms then and what are the norms now. The average middle class back in the 50s and 60s did not have so many technologies in their home. They had maybe one TV that the entire family watched. And now people find it as a need to have a TV in like basically every room, and a big TV at that, not just a simple TV that a lot of middle class families have. Now people want $2,000 TVs. Is that a need or is that a want? My TV in my background, this TV costs less than $200. It gives me the same options. Well, maybe I don't get everything that I need. Maybe I don't get everything I want in my TV, but it gives me everything that I need. And that's how we have to separate it. And that's how we have to compartmentalize our viewing of needs versus want. So that's why it's really important to not just talk about, oh, I can't afford this, and I should have it, I deserve to have this. And think about the path that you can put yourself on towards financial success in the future. And a lot of videos will be coming out like that. And I hope this affordable luxury video spoke to you on that. Yeah, maybe it's fun and you feel like you deserve that daily coffee that you buy at Starbucks. But first of all, those are getting very expensive. Very expensive. Eating out is also very expensive. People complain about cost of groceries, but then you eat out. And believe me, eating out is never going to be cheaper than cooking at home. It's never going to be cheaper than cooking at home. And so we have to buckle down and make those sacrifices now, and make sure that if you want a better future, you start walking those steps now. You start making those sacrifices now. The sooner you start, the better your life is going to be in the future. And you can have it all at once. You just can't have it all. Well, you can have it all, in general, but you can't have it all at once. And that's the difficulty of life. And that's the balance of having a life with a plan. So that's a lot of what affordable luxuries are about, and the pitfalls, because you get into this little or if you're here, be sure to like the video, comment. I'm talking about my affordable luxuries video and the pitfalls of affordable luxury. And be sure to have any questions, put in the chat as we just discuss it, and let me know your opinions on it. But the whole thing about little affordable luxuries that add up to a lot. And so in the end, because you're spending all of your money on these little things, you don't have the opportunity to save up for a bigger, more impactful thing in your life. Think about it this way. Somebody who is feels like they're such financial destitute that they can't afford to go on vacation. So instead, they feel like they deserve their daily coffee of $5 to $10 per day on breakfast. And then because of that, they deserve to buy food out, spending about $50 each time to buy food. So right now they're spending about $150 between daily coffees and eating out. And then because of that, they deserve a manicure and a pedicure. And because of that, they deserve to go get their hair done because they work so hard. Before you know it, these things are adding up to hundreds of dollars per month. Hundreds of dollars that if you just saved up those things, maybe you can afford to go on a much better vacation at the end of the year, the vacation that you feel like you deserve. So, what we feel like we deserve in life looks different, but are you putting a plan to actually achieve that? And looking at your budgets and making a detailed budget and sticking to that budget will prove more fruitful than anything that you just say to yourself and feel like you deserve, because it's not just going to come that easy. No matter how much money you make in life, you're never going to get everything that you want. And as a person, it's always good to be able to live a content life, even if you don't get everything that you want. You can't just live life chasing more money, more money, more money. At some point, you have to be able to look at the money that you make and be like, it would be nice to make more, but until then, I need to do my due diligence with what I have right now. And that's just what I learned about financial literacy and how I've applied it to my life. No matter what money I'm going to make in the future, which I plan to make more, I plan to make career moves. I'm getting my master's degree. I want to improve my skills. I hope to have promotions in the future, but I'm not living just for that future income. I'm living with the income that I have now. Now, am I fortunate to be an engineer and make a pretty good income? Yes, but life is still expensive. And as a person who has to, finance her whole life, things get tough. And I have to make sacrifices. I have to pick the things that I feel like, okay, these things are important to me. So I need to prioritize them. And there are things that I feel like I deserve that I don't get, it's just, I don't get it, because it doesn't, it's not that I don't think I deserve it. It's just because I can't have everything. I can't have everything. I can't be buying $5 coffees every single day while also thinking, well, I deserve to go on multiple vacations per day, per week, or per year, and think, well, I deserve to go get my nails done every 2 weeks and spend $70 each time, while also getting a facial, massage, and then I also want to be able to afford to buy a house in the future. You pick and choose your struggles, you pick and choose what your priorities are, and be content in those priorities that you pick. Know that it's not for nothing. And when you see people on social media who are spending all their discretionary spending, because we all, at some point, most of us have some sort of discretionary spending. And that's why it's important to spend your discretionary spending on things that you actually will actually move the needle towards a financially stable and a financially independent future, rather than spending it on things that are depreciating. I see the iPhone season is here, and a lot of people are ordering a new iPhone. And I would want to challenge you to actually stick to your old iPhone or your old phone if it works. If it's still good, keep it. My phone, I bought my first iPhone like 2 years ago. It was the iPhone 14. Again, the first iPhone I ever bought. I paid for it straight away. And because of that, I've kept it and I'm keeping it this season. I'm going to keep it till it doesn't work anymore. I don't switch my phones just because a new phone came out. I switch it when it breaks because that's what happened to my last phone. It cracked so bad that I was literally kind of scratching my hands when I touched the screen. I'm like, you know what? It's time for a new phone. And I did not just immediately, impulsively go to the store and buy a new phone. I waited and I saved up till I could pay in cash. And then I went and bought it. And the big thing about it is, like, even at that time, I was saving also for a car. I was saving for a down payment for a car. And I had to think, well, do I really want to spend that much money on an iPhone when I know that I'm going to be making a big purchase within a few months? And you know what? It delayed my car buying journey. It did. But that was a choice that I made, and then something I take full responsibility of, and plan to make better priorities in the future. Sometimes you make decisions that, okay, maybe it wasn't the best, but that's life. You just plan to make better ones in the future. And don't think any decision that you make is stupid. My heart goes out to people who feel like they're deeply in debt. They feel like they've made all the worst decisions that could have possibly ever happened, and that their life turned out completely in a way that they never wanted to. That is very sad. That is a very sad way to look at life. But just know that as long as you're alive, as long as God is giving you another day to wake up, that is the time to make new decisions, and decisions that would impact you for a better future. It is never too late to say no to upgrading your cell phone. Imagine complaining about the cost of groceries and yet ordering a new iPhone, even though your iPhone is working just as fine. And that's the chronically online behavior that I see that is not taking us any place good. Because how can you complain about the cost of living, the cost of basic necessities? Wow, when it's time to get a new television, you're the first one in line, even though your old television works just fine. You're the first one to get a new upgrade on your cell phone, on your computer, on an Apple Watch, getting a Fitbit, getting an iPad. Like, so many technologies that we're spending a lot of money on, and all of these are depreciating assets. The iPhone you bought, or the new iPhone you buy, iPhone 16, I think that's what they're on, that iPhone a few years from now is not going to yield anything. And most of us are not making money off of our phones. You buying the new iPhone, does that give you any type of utility or any type of income in the future? For most people, no. If you're using it to work, of course, then that is very much understood. It's an investment into your business, and that's even questionable. But what does that look like? What does life look like for you without the newest items? And I think social media has given us this false look on life, on what it looks like to live a normal, comfortable life. And if without social media, a lot of us will probably be more content with the amount of money we made and with what we have in life. Because growing up, I know a lot of people, like, they're like, oh, I didn't even know I was poor till I saw this on TV, or until I realized like people actually live this type of life. Sometimes it takes like having so many interactions and social media every single day. The algorithm favors rich flexing, and because of that, we see it and we think it's normal. And that's why on my channel, I work very diligently to bring you statistics and the data, because knowing the data is important. Knowing that the median individual income in the United States is like $42,000 is important. Over 50% of people working make less than $45,000 per year. The median individual income for family in the United States is about $75,000. The average, that's the average mean, the mean average is 105,000. But that's because it's being pulled up by the Mark Zuckerbergs, the Jeff Bezos, all those rich millions and billionaires. They skew it. But the median tells the real story. And it's good to live a life of content, not just, and it doesn't mean don't be ambitious. Like, being ambitious is good. Having goals of making more is it. But are you just having those goals to buy more materialistic things in your life, to show people what you have? If that's the goal, I think it's going to be really hard to achieve it, because you're not going to have anything that goes beyond, oh, I want this, I want this, I want this. Everybody has wants. Everybody has wants. So that's, the whole thing of just being financially responsible. And if you did not grow up learning about financial literacy, that makes a lot of us. Most of us did not grow up learning about financial literacy. But when you become an adult, that's the time to look at the things that nobody taught you and start making those better decisions for yourself. Maybe you didn't learn how to cook when you're younger. Okay, but now there's YouTube to learn how to cook. There's recipes online, recipe books. You didn't learn how to make a budget. My channel is here to help you make a budget. There's also people like Dave Ramsey, Graham Stephan, Caleb Hammer. There's so much resources online. And if we have time, that the average person spends well over 3 hours on social media per day, we can orient that to the things that actually make our lives more productive. There's so many things that we should have learned as kids. There's so many techniques that you should have. But the truth is also that a lot of us did learn certain things, but when you're not able to apply it, then it goes to waste. I hear a lot of people say, well, I should have learned how to file my taxes in school. Well, yeah, but you weren't filing your taxes, so you'd have forgotten. And filing taxes is not as hard as people make it seem. For the average person, you could just go to like H&R Block. Like those are things that I think, should we spend time learning in school, it'll be helpful, but if you're not using it, what's the point? But when it comes to financial literacy, we do learn those aspects in math class. When you learn to add, to subtract, to divide and multiply, that is a lot of financial literacy. We also learn about interest rates. And so you have to dig deep and look beyond, well, budgeting and stuff like that. Has less to do with math, and it has more to do with behavior, your mental thinking, your mindset at that. So that's where you want to assess those, because we all know not to purchase certain things when we don't have money. Okay, so the math is easy. We all learn math at school. It's about behavior. And if you need help, my channel is here. There are a lot of other resources. And so in life, as we grow older, as we hopefully become more mature, let us orient our attention to things that are productive to our life, things that are important to us, things that add to us, not take away from us, not things that make us feel like we always need more. And that's where lifestyle creep comes in, you all. I always talk about lifestyle creep on my channel, but it is real. You get a 5% raise, but then all of a sudden you want a bigger TV, you want a more fancy car, a fancy apartment. All those are lifestyle creep. Your raise was just 5%. Now all you inflating your entire lifestyle. And I think one time I used the couch theory, and hopefully this makes sense as I explain it. So the couch theory is like, okay, let's say I get a raise 5%, and I'm like, you know what? I can use a better couch. So I go and I buy a better couch. Now all of a sudden the couch is really fancy, but then my TV is small. Like I have a small 40-inch TV. I'm like, well, you know what will look better with this beautiful fancy couch? A bigger TV. So I get a bigger TV. And then all of a sudden I'm like, well, the center table doesn't look nice, the coffee table. So let me get a better coffee table to fit the new aesthetic of my living room. So I get a better coffee table. Then all of a sudden, I'm like, well, the living room now looks upgraded. I need to upgrade my other rooms. Before you know it, you're upgrading your entire life because you got a 5% raise. What does that look like for your budget? And a lot of us don't even look at our budgets and make a budget to see how much we can afford. People are just living life like the money's endless. Living a life without a budget is like living day to day without a budget is like living a life without a plan. You're just going wherever the wind blows. Don't be surprised if you're in debt and you don't have a budget. How would you know that you're spending within your budget if you don't have a budget? So it is really important to always have a budget and to keep track. If you make $3,000, $4,000 a month, sit down, budget it. This is going to this is going to that. And are you going to have the perfect budgets within a few weeks or months? No, I've been budgeting since I was 16 years old. I would get my paycheck. Actually, let me see if I have my first budget book. Let me see. I'm trying to see if I have it here. Actually, you know what I do? Let me see. So this was my first budget, 2017. I made $2,159 of my summer internship, and my taxes, and then I paid tithes. I've been paying my tithes since then. And then I had a list of things that I wanted to purchase and how much it was going to be. Anything from outfits to school to my SAT test to personal items. I wanted to purchase a laptop. I ended up not being able to afford to purchase a laptop because other things came along. But this is where it all started, you all. On a piece of paper. Now I am on Excel sheets. I track it even more. But that was my 2017 budget. I was 16 years old and I made this. And nobody sat me down and said, you know what you should do, Patience? You should budget it. And I learned my budgeting skills or financial literacy actually from the Bible. It was the parable of the parable of the master who left and left talents for each of his servants, right? So he left three servants talents. One had five, one had three or two, and then the other one had one, right? And the one who had five doubled it. The one who had three or two, I need to refresh my mind, doubled it as well. And the other one who had one buried it. They buried it because they said they didn't want to lose it. And God said, "You foolish servant, you could have at least put it in the bank." Oh, the master said, "You could have at least put it in a bank so I could have gotten interest on it." Right? So it's like you even start burying it. The worst of it is that a lot of us spend it. You could at least put it in the bank to get interest. And interest rate now is like 4 or 5%. So that's the whole point of it. Learning how to live that life that you are also preserving something for the future, right? And since then, I've gotten better. Like I said, I did one for 2018 as well. I have like a whole bunch of sticky notes and stuff. But yeah, since then, I've always made a budget and it got more detailed. Like this time, look at this. I had like my wardrobe. I wanted to buy some clothes, so I had so much more. And this was like how much I budgeted, how much I spent. So this is for personal supplies. So as you can see, I budgeted like $580, and then I spent $309 for clothes. So it's just some things that we don't learn in life that somebody does not always have to teach us. Okay, here, school supplies. And let me tell you, I was couponing like crazy. I was making sure that I can get the best deal ever. And maybe one day I'll sit down and make a whole like newer video for it. But in life, you don't always sit down. You don't always get somebody to sit you down, and life doesn't go as you plan, and you have to make different choices. And this is one of the different choices that I made. I made a list for dorm room list. So that summer, I saved money to purchase things for my dorm room, and then I'm not being able to afford to live on campus. I had to make different decisions for college, and that was hard. Like giving up that dream that I had had for many years of going to college, living in a dorm, being able to just walk onto this campus whenever I wanted. And I had to grieve that dream and make it into something else, right? Well, sometimes I could have looked at people and be like, wow, it's so nice that some people are able to afford to live on campus, to go to college and not have to, struggle in their commute. I had to look at mine and make different decisions for myself for the outcome that I wanted. And so now when sometimes I talk to people, they're like, oh, you're so privileged to like not have student loans. But they don't understand the decisions that I had to make when I was looking at other people as privileged for being able to afford to live on campus. When I had to take 3 buses to get to school and then take another 3 buses to come home. It took me almost 2 hours each way. And then I had to budget to be able to afford the train. And yeah, it was not fun. It was not fun. I would take the bus and then to go to a train station, transfer to another train station, and then walk all the way up for an 8 a.m. class. And I looked at the people around me and think, oh, they're so privileged to be able to afford to live on campus and just like wake up 30 minutes before class and get ready and walk straight on campus. And now people look at me privileged because I don't have student loans, right? So we all make different decisions in life. And when you're doing that sacrifice, it's not fun, okay? The Bible said, no discipline seems pleasant. It yields a harvest of righteousness by those who have been disciplined by it. So it may not look like fun now when you make that sacrifice and you see people spending money going out and you're like, how are they able to afford all of these things when I can't afford to do that within my budget? That is you being disciplined. And that means you will have a better outcome, right? So we all have to sacrifice at some point in our lives. And that sacrifice looks very different, very different. And I've learned to actually enjoy that time of sacrifice because I know that this is going to yield such better results in my life. I have a video. Hopefully you watch it. So I can actually put the link in there, which I talked about my car buying journey last year. And earlier last year, I bought a car. I felt like I got ripped off. It was it was my first car. You know what? We all make decisions. We all live by it. I take that responsibility. I should have done better due diligence. I ended up going above my budget. And I thought, I don't want this car payment. Paying over $600 per month for this car. And it wasn't even an expensive car. It was just a 3-year loan. So it was more. And I had to go through a period of great sacrifice, right? Because I went, oh, after I graduate, I wouldn't have to do this anymore. Like I can buy whatever I want. Well, I can't, but I can't do that, right? I don't make that much money to be able to afford everything that I want. But then beyond that, I had to, oh my God, I'm getting a call. Let me see. I'll just send my friend to voicemail. Okay. Yeah. So I got a call and like my phone is connected to my thing. Oh, let me see. This is my first time doing a webcast, by the way, you guys. Okay, yeah, she's leaving a message. Okay, yeah. And I had to go through a period of sacrifice. I was like, if I don't want to be paying this for the next 3 years, what does my life look like within a short-term period for me to achieve that? What do I need to give up now so that in the future, when I get my salary, $600 per month doesn't go to a car dealership? That did not look fun because I only budgeted that much money for my car payments. And my life for the next few several months looked very different from what I had imagined. But it was the sacrifice that yielded a result of me not having a car payment anymore. I gave up vacations. I gave up going out to eat, like things that I budgeted to splurge on myself. I had to give that up. I worked more hours. I every time I had this thing of going to events of focus groups, even when it was inconvenient, because I'm like, I'm gonna make this money some way, somehow. Yeah. And anything that was dignified that I could do, I had to start implementing that in my life because that's what the life of sacrifice looks like in order to achieve the results that you want. So yeah, look very different. You can go watch that video. I will probably see if I can find it and then put it in here. But my life looked very different for the next few months in order for me to be able to achieve what I wanted. And if that is something that is important to you, I just want to encourage you that the path is not fun. And no, anybody who tells you that it's easy and fun, no, it's not. Okay, I'm gonna put it in the chat. It's not, but the results of it can be so beneficial to you and change the trajectory of not just your life, but the life of your future generations. So yeah, I think I'll be just concluding in a few. I've been on here for 36 minutes. Wow, I couldn't anything was this long. I didn't think I was gonna be on for this long. But yeah, like I said, if you have any questions on my newest video, watch it if you haven't. It's called Affordable Luxuries Are Not So Affordable and the Pitfalls of Affordable Luxuries. Which affordable luxuries are things that you think you can afford, like everyday items, eating out. They don't seem too grand in the beginning, but in the end, it does leave an impact on your finances. So, yeah, that's it. And my next video is actually going to be very interesting. I hope you watch my next video that's coming up next week. I post a video every single Friday at 5 p.m. Texas time. I'm not over like 4 p.m. Eastern time. And in those videos that I'm currently going to be doing, they're going to be longer form videos. So a lot of my videos are going to be like 30 minutes to, I think my biggest video is like an hour. It's going to be like almost an hour long. Yeah, not my next video, but like a couple of videos after that, it's going to be an hour long. It's taking me such a long time to work on this video, but I think it's going to be very, very impactful and start a lot of conversations, and hope to hear from you and what does for you. But beyond it all, yeah, I think my next videos, I'm just going to target this and the impact of social media. I'm going to talk more about it, but I'm also going to talk about everyday things and things that we get tempted by, things that hinder us from moving to the next step in our finance journey, and what we can do, practical things that we can do in order to not compromise our financial future for the now. It's going to be hard. It's going to take sacrifice, like I said. But if you're able to stick to it, the outcome will be a harvest of righteousness. And it's going to be wonderful. You're going to have so many memories of things that you gave up for the things that you wanted. And people are going to look at you and think, oh, you are so privileged to do this. And you're going to say, you don't even know half the story. But you're going to know, and you're going to be very happy with the results. Yeah, live, still splurge on certain things here and there, but make it intentional. Live an intentional life. And with that, I am concluding this live video. So thank you all for those who did join. Leave comments in the comment section. Be sure to hit a thumbs up, and I will talk to you soon. I'll probably do maybe one more live video this month or one next month, and hopefully this will be something more regular. So thank you all, and I am going to end the stream now. Have a good day, have a blessed day, and stay safe out there. Bye.